Hello, hello, hello. It's Keita Williams, founder and chief strategist of Success Bully. Success Bully is an elite accountability practice, so that makes me your personal professional butt kicker. Thank you for joining me. Happiest of Mondays. We're so excited to have you here. And forgive the moving background. My 75-pound Shar-Pei puppy has decided that he wants to sit right there. So you may see a special guest appearance from Dante the Shar-Pei. So just throwing that out there. This is what happens when you go live. Welcome. So glad you're here. So glad you're joining us. For the month of July, we've been talking all about accountability, one of our favorite tools here at Success Bully. We've built our whole coaching practice around the idea of strategically using accountability to achieve goals. There's a statistic out there that says that you are 65% more likely to complete a goal if you share it. You're 95% more likely to complete a goal with consistent accountability, right? And so I just want to remind you that if you do not have accountability readily available in your life, that you can kind of lean into a coach, you can lean into a community. There are a number of ways to leverage accountability so that you can make this your best year yet. It's still not too late to have your best year yet. And so the first week of July, we kind of talked about the DIY of accountability, right? That in order to move forward using accountability, you have to first hold yourself accountable, and that's by tracking your progress. Having really clear goals, tracking your progress, making sure that even when it's a bad day, you capture that data, right? So how do you hold you're holding yourself accountable? And then secondly, we talked about building an accountability circle. So what does it look like when you have an accountability partner, when you have an accountability community that you really want to be on the same page, that is a partnership, that you can't force somebody to be your accountability partner, but also that there has to be some rules of engagement, right? Like, how are you going to do this? What are your capabilities? There has to be clarity around it. There has to be transparency, truth, but also, if you're a no-show and you don't move forward, there have to be consequences. So we talked about all that. You can go back and check out the previous videos on it. But today I wanted to specifically talk about coaching and how coaching is an opportunity to get that neutral third party to hold you accountable. Like oftentimes we see this with health coaches, we see this with personal trainers, we see this in with your medical care team, with your doctors, that there is somebody who has the strategy and the accountability to help you get the results, right? And so I wanted to kind of chat through several different scenarios on when is it a good time to hire a coach? Like when at what point is it a good opportunity or a good idea to hire a coach? So I wanted to give you three different scenarios that I see quite often in my practice and even in my own personal experience, because as a coach I am coached. I have a handful of coaches at this point. I have coaches. And so at what points have I made the decision to connect with a coach? So before we do that, I do want to just once again welcome you. If you haven't been around us, we really are passionate about helping coaches and consultants get 20 new clients in 12 months or less. We've built a whole community around this concept of just building and scaling and being very passionate about the business side of a service-based business. That it's not just your execution and the modality, but also the business side. And if you are tuning in from our Facebook community called the Corporate Escape Route, everyone in the community has a personal concierge. So if your first name begins with the letters A through M, Sai is your personal concierge. If your first name begins with the letters N through Z, Lucille is your personal concierge. So look for friend requests from them, look for messages from them, and know that we're building a support network here. So if there's a specific question that you have or you're stuck with anything, reach out. We are happy to help. Okay, so let's talk about the when. When do you leverage the accountability that comes with a coach? When is it a good time to really think um, bringing on that neutral third party, someone who is compensated to show up for you, someone who has a track record to get the results that you're looking for, someone that aligns with your value system, someone that is relatable, someone that holds space for you, someone that is trustworthy and who will be transparent with you when you are falling short of expectation. And those are some of the hallmarks to selecting a coach. And we could talk more about that in a separate live stream. But I wanted to just give you some scenarios on when to hire a coach. So if you are in a space, and whether I think this, I can speak from my perspective as a business coach. I think that there are other scenarios. I think that in when I look at like career coaching and health coaching and wellness coaching, I think that they're very similar. But I'm going to speak to it from what I know, my area of expertise, and that oftentimes one time, an excellent time to hire a coach is when you're stuck, right? Or like if you were driving, now you got yourself out of park and maybe you're idling in neutral and you can't seem to get it into drive. Where like you might be hung up in one area and you just can't move forward, or you are repeatedly in your own way, or maybe you're overthinking it and you're spinning your wheels, and that spin is a perpetual motion but not forward motion. So maybe you're over rotating, or I've seen planning documents. I had a client years ago that had a whole Google Drive of planning documents and PowerPoints and Excel sheets and research, but no action. So if you're kind of stuck in that analysis paralysis, or you maybe you're a perfectionist and you're kind of just you're waiting on it to be perfect before you can say go, before you can get started. You're waiting on this perfect time, you're waiting on this perfect storm, you're waiting on all of these things to line up. Newsflash, there's never a perfect time. Never a perfect time. Just throwing that out there. Life is going to continue to life. It's still going to, your life is going to continue to get more busy and more complicated. So there's never going to be that perfect time, right? And so, but if you're stuck, if you're kind of like, imagine if you were standing on a diving board and your toes are kind of hanging over the dive. You remember when you were a kid and you were first like learning how to jump off the high dive, where you're just, your toes are just on the edge of the diving board and you see the water, you know you can swim, you know what to expect, and you just haven't jumped off that diving board. That's if you feel that scenario, whether that is starting a business, whether that is hiring your first employee, whether it's launching a new service offering in the business, if you are just standing on the diving board, if your toes are just on the diving board and you just can't get off, you can't make that jump, that's an excellent time to consider a coach. If you are just kind of stuck there, if you're stuck, if you're getting in your own way, if you are on this spin cycle, that's an excellent time. And I don't want this is not a commercial for me by any stretch of the imagination, because I of course want you to work with me, but I want you to think about where you are in your journey right now. If you have had this amazing plan and this amazing idea, right? If you've had an amazing idea for the last year, and if on July 18th, 2021 to July 18th, 2022, you've had no forward motion, I want you to consider getting yourself some help. Because if a year passes and you've made no forward motion, 2 years could pass, 3 years could pass, 5 years could pass. You could look up and a decade has gone by, and that thing that you're so passionate about that you wanted to do for so long has not come to be. So let's not you lose 10 years. Let's not lose 5 years. I'm gonna be honest with you. When I started Successfully is 5 years old. Um, I had the initial idea and concept for it in like 2012. Yeah, so like 5 years of iterating before I actually did something, right? And so imagine how many people I could have helped in that 5 year window if I hadn't gotten my own way and was too scared to get started, or too intimidated by the idea of being an entrepreneur, right? So I want you to just kind of consider that if you're stuck, it's getting unstuck. You don't have to do that by yourself. And there are coaches and mentors out there that specialize in helping you get unstuck, right? And so when you're stuck, the second thing, this is a whole different scenario. when you want to accelerate, you're already in motion. You're already in motion, whatever that big goal is. So like for me, working with entrepreneurs who want to get to that 7-figure mark, I'm very passionate about that piece too. Like working with folks that want to scale, that want, whether that's scale out of corporate or scale into that 7-figure business, that scaling process, who want to accelerate that, who don't want to keep doing the guessing game, that want to skip the line, right? Who want to skip the line and use that strategy, that accountability, some best practices to go further than their current competence level. So, with entrepreneurship, and again, I'm as a business coach, this is what I'm speaking to. At every level in your business, there's a new level of competence that you have to acquire. There's new knowledge that you have to acquire. There's new best practices. There's new mindset shifts that have to happen, right? And so at every level, you have to sharpen your saw. You have to sharpen your skill set. And so you can figure this out, right? But you could spend a lot of time trying to figure it out, right? So when you want to accelerate, when you want to skip that line, when you want to get to that destination a little faster, when you want to put your foot on the gas and you want to get in the fast, you want to go from the slow lane, the medium lane, you want to get in that fast lane. You want to get to that fast lane where you're leveraging someone else's experience, you're leveraging their proven strategies, you're leveraging their track record to help you accelerate, right? To help you accelerate, that is an excellent time to find a coach or to leverage a coach and be really clear about that point of acceleration, right? So if you want to accelerate as a leader, you want to improve your leadership skills, hire a leadership coach. If you want to double your revenue, then maybe it's a sales coach that you need, or maybe it is, working with a coach that specifically works on scale, right? Or if it's just kind of wherever that point of acceleration, that is where I would find a specialist for that point of acceleration, right? You definitely don't want to do a catch-all kind of thing here, because that point of acceleration is critical, right? So you want to hire somebody with that expertise in that point of acceleration. Even with health and wellness coaching, if you have hit a weight loss plateau, it's time to switch from a trainer, a regular trainer, to someone that specializes in weight loss, breaking weight loss plateaus. You see what I mean? So what is that point of acceleration? What is that specific thing that you really want to skip the line, move a lot faster, put your foot on the gas on, right? So there's getting unstuck, there's accelerating. And then my third point, and then I'm going to go back to being magical for the rest of the day, is when you want to refine. When you want to refine something, right? Where you have the skill set, you've gotten there fast. Like for me, again, as a business coach, you want to work smarter. You want to have systems in place, or you want your business to run without you and not skip a beat, right? So you want to refine what you've built, or you want to make sure it's more systemized. So there's you're stuck, you need to get unstuck, you need to get started, you need to get in motion, you need to get from neutral to drive. There's the acceleration, you want to go fast. You want to get there fast, you want to jump the line, you want to leapfrog. That's an excellent time. Or when you want to refine processes, or you want to refine the experience, you want to refine how you're showing up, you want to refine your leadership skills. So you were leading a team of 20 and now you're leading a team of 100, right? So maybe it's refining the skills, right? And so like if you're kind of sitting at a point, that inflection point where you know that you've gone as far as you can take it on your own. And so whether that's the acceleration, the getting unstuck, the refining things, you're at an inflection point. And I want you to take a moment right now and reflect on where you are in your journey. Are you stuck? That's okay. That's okay. There are communities and coaches that want to help you get unstuck. If you want to speed things up, and I know I'm not everybody's cup of tea. I am not everybody's cup of tea. I'm not their shot of whiskey either. I'm not for everybody. You can find someone with the expertise to help you accelerate in that space, in that space that you want to move quickly through, right? And finally, if you want to refine, right? You're already doing great and you know that you can be better. Sometimes coaching is about that 2%. When you think about pro athletes, Serena Williams, who has one of the best serves in the entire sport, has a coach working specifically on her serve, right? So no matter how much of a pro you are, no matter how you feel you are, like you may be at the top of your game, there's always that 2% or less even that can be improved. If you got 2% better month over month, if you got 2% better a year, we don't even talk monthly. If you got 2% better a year as a person, as an entrepreneur, as a leader, just imagine what kind of impact you'd be making in the world. Imagine the lives you would touch. Imagine the people you could support, right? Imagine what you would be capable of. And so, I don't want to ever leave this live stream without extending an invitation. So if you are having a point of inflection and you're stuck, or you want to accelerate, or maybe you need to refine a few things, I want to extend an invitation for you to book a strategy session with us, right? Again, I work with entrepreneurs, it's service based businesses. So if that sounds like you and you're at one of these inflection points that you may be stuck, you want to accelerate, or maybe you need to refine your business a little bit, I want to extend an invitation to book a call. And you can do that at successfully.com/call. If you are watching this in our Facebook community, you have a personal concierge that will reach out to you if your first name begins with the letters A through M. Sai is your personal concierge. If your first name begins with the letters N through Z, Lucille is your personal concierge. And once again, I know that coaching is an investment, but I want to remind you that you are worth it, right? Imagine what you'd be able to accomplish if you got yourself unstuck. Imagine what you'd be able to accomplish if you accelerated, if you're already crushing it and you accelerated your progress, or if you refined your greatness, if you worked on that 2%. Imagine what you'd be able to accomplish. Imagine the lives you'd be able to change, including your own and the people you love the most. So I want to encourage you to know that you are worth it. You are worth the investment. You are your biggest asset, but you are also your biggest liability. We all are. That's like my own worst enemy. We all are. So reach out if you need us. Once again, I am Keita Williams, founder and chief strategist of Success Bully. Let's get after it.